What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we are coming in with a hoot and a holler. A true banger, if you will. Today, we are talking about the worst wax that I've ever smoked in my life. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you do, and a couple things I want to mention before I dive into it. First and foremost, please drop a like if you do enjoy the video. Fuck that like button up, alright? I feel like I haven't really been given enough attention to the like button. Dude, fuck it. Literally smack it. You know what? I'm not even gonna say if you enjoy. I don't care if you enjoy, dude. Smack it right now, dude. I do care if you enjoy. I'm kidding, alright? Hey, don't get upset, dude. I care. I do care, dude. I give a shit. I promise. I do care. Hope you guys enjoy. Drop a like if you do. And also, for those of you guys who have never given my streams a shot, I highly recommend turning on notifications and giving my live streams a chance. I go live every day on YouTube and smoke some joints, smoke some bowls, drink a little bit, have a good time, and get to gaming. It's always a fun time. So for those of you guys out there who are my viewership who maybe have never watched one of my live streams, I highly recommend you give it a chance. You know, come say hey to me. Hey, I like to talk to you guys, get to know you. It's a fun time. So thank you all in advance for tuning in to my live streams. If you guys have already, hey, make yourselves known in the comments, live stream squad. Hey, say what up. Let's dive right into the story. So, this happened way back in high school. I'm talking like, this happened before I even knew Ashton. Like, this was so fucking long ago. And there was a fairly recent video uploaded about taking acid and skipping school, where I did it with a friend, Michael. I believe that's the name I gave him. I'm pretty sure Michael's the name I gave him. And he is once again the primary character in this story. Now, Michael was basically, like I stated in that video, pretty much almost always, who I kicked it with whenever I'd skip school, because Michael just never went to school to begin with. And, like, if he was at school and you said to him, like, yo, dude, you want to just leave and smoke? He'd always be down. Like, he'd just be like, all right, dude, just grab his backpack, fucking walk home with you, dude, get to smoking. So on this particular day, it was a day where I just was not going to school, dude. It absolutely was not happening. So I didn't fucking go. And I stayed home that day, and there were some mornings where I wouldn't really have to try to, like, finesse getting out of going to school, because my mom would leave for work so early in the morning that I kind of just had free reign, so I would just stay home, right? And that's exactly what I did. So I stay home that day, and I'm kind of chilling out, and I realized pretty quickly, maybe like 30 minutes into staying home, after my wake and bake, that, like, hey, I'm running pretty chronically low on weed, and everyone's at school, right? So I start going through my Snapchat, looking through my homies, and Michael, of course, is already on the story wake and bacon. So I'm like, well, this guy's very obviously not going to school today, so let's link up, right? So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, dude, what you want? You trying to link? He's like, yeah, dude, you should slide on me. Do you have any weed? And I'm like, well, I got maybe like a 10 sack left, you know, I got a little bit, but not that much. He's like, oh, you know, I'll get you right if you let me smoke that, right? So, of course, it's Michael, that's my homie. I'm like, bet, you know, he's like, I even got a little bit left, too. Not quite as much as you, but like a bull pack. You know, back in high school, dude, you would have to match to achieve a couple grams, okay? It was not like adulthood, where now a couple grams is light smoke. Back then, no, boy. It was a couple grams, that's the match, dude. That's 4 heads on the sesh. What do you mean? We all pulled up with a 10 sack. What are you talking about, dude? So either way, of course, now that I know that Michael's home, I'm ready to rumble, right? So I walk over to Michael's house, because Michael's house wasn't that far from me, right? And at this particular point, I didn't have like a car that I was reliably using, right? I used my mom's car most of the time, but she was at work, right? So at this point, I just kind of had to hike it, right? So I walk over to Michael's house. I get there. I dap him up. We're chilling, and he's just sitting in his room playing Xbox like always, right? I've got my bud on me. We go in his room. He's got this little bowl, and we're just ripping the bowl. And maybe like an hour and a half goes by of us just kind of chilling, smoking, chatting. And none of our other friends were really staying home on this day. We tried hitting other people up, getting some plays going, but there was nobody else who was actually like home and down to smoke. We were hitting up some other people, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll leave school early and shit, but nobody was actually down to just straight up dip and come smoke with us, which kind of sucked. So we're kind of chilling, gaming, smoking, chatting, and eventually it gets to the point where we run out of bud. And now the real struggle begins, because for all you high schoolers out there, or really, okay, pretty much just everyone who's ever smoked at high school age knows this struggle. Those days when you would skip school but then run out of weed in the middle of the day and have to find a plug. But the problem is that all your plugs are high school age, so they're all at school. So you got to find like that one guy's older brother, or like get lucky and have one kid who happened to stay home that sells weed, you know? So like on those kind of, school days and you're trying to re-up, it was literally just like anything goes. Like there was no quality control. There was no being picky. If you were able to get served during the school day, nice, man. Take advantage of that, you know? So we're like, oh shit, dude, we got to start scrambling, right? And we're hitting all sorts of people up. And Michael eventually finds a guy who has some wax. And he's like, oh, dude, perfect. I think he might even deliver, right? And as soon as he says that, my day's looking up. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, man. This is going to be awesome. We got some wax getting delivered. Michael's got a little, like, ghetto rig with, like, some, like, kitchen torch that you use, Like, we had the setup. We had the materials to dab, right? So we're excited. We're ready to rumble, right? And us being broke as shit, we're trying to, get the best bang for our buck. And this wax was, like, $20 a gram, like 25 a gram, right? So right off the bat, that is always a bad sign. Listen, street wax, if you're getting true quality concentrate, is like minimum 40 a gram for some like good stuff. If you're buying it by 1 gram, right? Minimum. If you got a good connect who's, maybe making the concentrate himself or something, minimum $40 if you're in good with the guy, for some good wax. If you're paying anything under that for a gram, chances are you should put that shit down, right? Because listen, hey, just put it down, man. So, us being high schoolers, we didn't give a fuck, dude. That rule did not apply whatsoever. So we're like, whatever, dude. We'll grab, right? So Michael hits the guy up. Guy's like, bet, I'll be there. I had no idea who this guy was. Michael always had, like he had, like, all the older brothers and older kids on Snapchat, right? Like, he had all the, like, kids who already graduated on Snapchat and shit, just through, like, people and shit. So he'd always have these random plugs that I didn't have, right? He was just always with these random fucking people, right? So, finally, the guy pulls up. I throw him my chunk of the money. He runs out and comes back in with this shit, right? And I will admit, it smelled good. Like, it smelled strongly. It reeked. Like, when he walked back in with it and pulled it out, I smelled it. But I noticed something concerning immediately. Looking at that little wax paper that he pulled out, that parchment paper, whatever that kind of paper is called. I think it's just wax paper. Suspiciously dark. Very suspiciously dark. Like, not like, okay, maybe not the purest. I'm talking like, dude, I couldn't see through it at all. Like, it was just darkness, right? So I'm like, uh-oh. But at this price range, that's pretty typical. So I was like, whatever, and also us being in high school, dude, any dabs are going to get us high. Any dabs are going to get us, well, almost any. Almost any. We'll get to that. So, either way, the look wise, I'm a little concerned, but hey, he hasn't busted open the paper yet, and smells are actually pretty okay. So I'm still maintaining high hopes. He sits back down. There's this little table. So how his room was set up, there's a TV, and then there was like 3 or 4 chairs around this little table in the middle. It was just a perfect like smoke sesh kind of room. I think his bed like was one of the chairs. I think one of the chairs was a futon, and that was just doubled as his bed. Like it was just one of those kind of rooms where every square foot was just dedicated to getting stoned, right? So either way, he sits down at the table and he busts out this wax and he opens the paper. Oh, God. First off, it was very, like, gooey, like, sticky. I don't know what it is, but I found when you get wax at that price point, it's almost always, like, just really hard and dry. But this was wet and sticky and almost hard to work with, like, to the point where if I was unfolding the parchment paper, if I pulled it too hard, like, not even too hard, just slightly too hard, it would have just ripped. Like, it was so sticky. It was weird. So he opens this paper, and it was almost pitch black, like the deepest, darkest shade of brown I've ever seen in my life. I hold it up. I can't, like, there's not light penetrating damn near. Like, it's got a little, like, dark brown glow going, but there's not really any light penetrating the shit. And I'm just like, oh, man. Like, what did we buy? And looking back on it, I'm pretty sure we just got served Reclaim. Like, I'm almost certain that we just got served Reclaim. Looking back on it, the look of it, like, it looks like if I just took my nail and took a little torch to it and just heated it up to let all the reclaim like drip down onto wax paper, folded it up and just served it. Like, that is exactly what this shit looked like. It was honestly, yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that I think we just got finessed for Reclaim. But at the same time, it didn't have that, like, already smoked wax taste. The taste is the only thing that makes me think maybe this wasn't Reclaim, it was just really bad. But I'll get to that. So, we're looking at it, and I'm just like, oh, God. He goes and gets his dabber, right? He's heating up the banger. He offers me the first dab, and I, of course, me being me, I accept, dude. Listen, this might look like some shit, but I don't care, dude. I will gladly accept the first dab, right? I regretted it pretty fucking almost immediately after taking it. So he heats up the banger, right? He's torching it. I'm trying to use the little tool to scrape off a dab. And every time I try to pull the wax, like, up, it just, like, it was so hard to work with almost. Like, it was just the worst texture to work with. It was soft enough where, like, it was just always, like, there was always, like, a string of it you had to kind of twist your tool around to, like, wrap around the end of it, and there was always, like, some extra part of it, and your hands were getting sticky handling this shit, because you couldn't avoid getting your fingers involved, and, like, dude, listen, it was hectic getting this shit on the tool, but finally, I've got it on there, and I'm like, alright, bet, now I'm ready to rumble. So I've got this wax. He hands me the rig. I drop it on this banger. Lads, first off, now this is what makes me think it might have been Reclaim, and if not Reclaim, just genuinely some of the worst shit ever. It, like, snap, crackled, and popped, almost as if there was, like, water in it. Like, it literally snap, crackled, and popped. It was disgusting, and I got, immediately, the most, like, see, the thing is, the taste was not Reclaim at all. The taste was just like a really dirty wheat, almost like wet grass, almost. Like, just genuinely the worst tasting wax I've ever tasted. It tasted like how wet grass, like freshly cut grass, smells. It was awful, and that whole taste just engulfed my entire mouth, and it was so intense. Like, no matter what I did, I immediately started coughing hard as fuck, dude. I started coughing a lung up. And I passed the rig back to Michael. I'm like, holy shit, I can't stop coughing. It's just getting worse. And my face is getting more red and my throat is starting to hurt more. And I started coughing so hard that I went into his bathroom and coughed up blood. I literally coughed up there, not like a big, like, clot of it, but like I spat out and it was red. Like, I coughed up blood. The shit was so rough, it made my throat so fucking raw. It felt like Mandingo face fucked me, dude. I was coughing up blood. It was fucked, dude. It was terrible. And I don't know how long I was in there for, but by the time I came back, Michael was coughing and doing the same shit. Now, he didn't get to that point. I don't think he ever got up and went to the bathroom, but his face was red. He's sweating balls. I'm sweating balls. And sometimes that can be a good sign from wax. But this, I was not sweating and coughing because I was so stoned and getting that lung punch. I was sweating and coughing because I felt like I literally just smoked on, like, chemical cleaners, dude. I feel like I just smoked on, like, a dog treat or some shit, dude. Like, just the worst fucking quality smoke ever. And we'd bought an entire gram of this shit. So us being idiots, we're like, well, maybe it was just the first hit and we gotta clean the rig. We're trying anything but to embrace the fact that we just got finessed, right? So we go clean out his rig. We clean the fuck out of this kid's rig. Dish soap and everything. We're like, all right, this is it. We go back in for round 2, dude. Literally same fucking thing. This time I give Michael the first one because I'm like, dude, I'm not going first. You're checking this one, dude. So he smacks it. Same exact outcome. In fact, it was even worse with the bong clean. I'm pretty sure all the leftover shit in the rig was like kind of masking the god-awful true taste of this. And now that it was clean, the gloves were off, dude. It was just the single worst tasting concentrate I've ever put to my mouth. Just fucking repulsive. And luckily the second time I didn't cough up blood, but it's because I learned my lesson and took a way smaller dab, like an astronomically smaller dab. And the worst part is, After this was all said and done, we sat there with no weed, wax that wasn't worth smoking, headaches, and my throat was bleeding. So it was the worst outcome ever. And I remember telling Michael so bad, I was like, dude, please hit that plug up and tell him fuck you or something. Like, I was so mad. I was like, dude, please just hit him up and tell him fuck himself. Say something terrible, dude. Say I don't know, dude. Tell him you hope his mom gets in a car accident or some shit, dude. Say something horrible to him, dude. Just the worst thing you can think of, dude. Say all 4 of his tires go flat and he loses control and swerves into a ditch and his truck flips 5 times, dude. Something, anything, dude. Just let him know that this is the worst shit ever and my throat is bleeding. And Michael's like, nah, man, that's my friend's cousin or whatever. I can't fucking say that to him. So I was a little upset. Michael was a little upset. We just gamed about it. And then eventually everyone got out of school and we got to smoke some actual fucking weed, dude. But that daytime was rough as fuck. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Once again, don't forget to turn on notifications and tune in to my daily live streams if you guys haven't yet. Highly encourage you guys just to pop in, give it a try. Hey, it's a nice chill smoke sesh. I think you guys out there would love a nice little sesh. Come join me, motherfuckers. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.